TBC Abundant Life Production. Being abundant in life is not just about having, it's also about producing. Because when you produce for others, not just for yourself, but for others, then you create abundance in their lives and you instill a value of production in them to where now they go out and produce for others as well. So there's duplication in that. So something that is very imperative to the TBC mindset, as far as I understand it, is the idea of creating an economy of producers. So with the billion members that we're acquiring, it's extremely important that those billion members learn to develop into producers. So with that, it's very simple. An individual can go out and they can produce something, even just honestly, even just smiling at somebody who's having a rough time. That's a very simple form of production. But of course, we're also talking about economic production, because we need people who can take the assets that they're acquiring and turn that into production to where they're creating something, creating a business, creating a product, creating a good or a service that betters humanity. And what that leads us to is a situation where we no longer are in lack or scarcity because production is so high, which means we also won't experience lack of supply because producing becomes highly valued. If we're producing at a very high level, then scarcity-based goods will be in abundance. Even farmers producing at a high level, low level laborers producing at a high level, but it starts from the top. Like everybody has to be producing at a high level. That instills a value in individuals that is duplicated down the food chain, so to speak. It's not really a food chain. That's not really the right word there, but down from the billionaire to the millionaire to the everyday worker. It's a value of production, because right now people are producing just enough to get their paycheck. In most cases, they're just doing the bare minimum to get by. But if you look at other areas of their life, you'll notice that they're actually doing the bare minimum to get by in those areas as well. So what that tells you is there's an overall attitude and mentality of just doing enough to get by in all regards, not just when it comes to work. So what that means for society is we're operating below our level of capacity. So we need to get to a place of production where we're doing our very best every single day. Our very best. And I think when everybody in humanity really works to be the best of themselves, then that will lead to a situation where scarcity is not even a thought. Because scarcity is a result of just trying to get by. And even at the highest levels, for example, there's, let's say there's people who feed off the energy of others in order to sustain their ego, so to speak, right? Like, for example, a very popular guy in a high school, right? He feeds off that attention, that feeling of power, that this, that, whatever it is, to feed his ego. He's just trying to get by. He's not living in abundance. He's dependent on that supply. If that supply dries up, he's gonna have an ego issue. So he's not producing at all. He's consuming and then producing the bare minimum off of that consumption. So we're trying to create a mentality around production. Then, of course, there still is consumption, but it's production first. So that's TBC life, abundant life, production.